You are now listening to Carlie's Couch.
I'm Carlie.
And I'm Lex.
In this podcast, we discuss a wide array of topics about life and how to live your best life.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Hope y'all enjoy. Uncertainty can feel scary, but it's also a very powerful space for growth. This week on Carlie's Couch, we talk about not knowing what to do in this moment.
Welcome to Carlie's Couch. My name is Lex Chopia. This is CC Fierce, a.k.a. Carlie.
Gang, gang.
A.k.a. I ain't gonna tell y'all all her names.
Holistically dope.
I was gonna say some bullshit, but all right.
We'll keep it business.
Right, we're gonna keep it business right now. Go check out holistic.com. You gotta spell it out every time you talk about that though, huh? That's
H-E-A-U-X. Listic. Holistic.
Today, we are going to talk about how it's okay to not know the answers and how it's okay to tell people and to tell yourself, I don't know. I don't know yet. How about that? The yet is important because that's the part where it's like, I don't know right now. And in this moment of uncertainty, I do have certainty that it will work out. So let's get into it.
Come on, Pastor Lex.
This was my word for the year, certainty. So, and I've been turning up on it. So our first thought is, what does it mean to sit with uncertainty? When you are uncertain about things, like how does that feel?
It feels scary. You can feel really anxious. You might feel pressure to know. Marvel is slipping on my pants. If you're watching the video. But you might feel pressure to know what's next. It's interesting because I'm actually in a season of uncertainty in my life. Not like because I have a big decision or anything to make, but normally I know what's next. Meaning like I have a goal. I have this thing I'm working towards that's next. And this is the first time in a very long time that I actually don't know what that space is. And so those are all the things I'm feeling.
But at the same time, that must mean you feel like there needs to be something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there feels like a pressure. I think especially as a high achiever and somebody who's so goal-oriented, always working on myself and towards things. Like I feel pressure. I feel a little bit of anxiety. And also I see possibility. Like I heard a quote a long time ago that you know you're in the right place when you're not sure what the next step is because that's where God, that's where the universe, that's where magic can happen.
For me, I would say uncertainty feels a little bit different or the way I would describe it is different. For me, when I'm in uncertainty, I don't necessarily feel bad or like any like negative things, but how I feel is I feel uninspired. When I'm in spaces where I'm uncertain about what if I should be doing a thing, what that is, or like there's something else, and I'm not quite there, I just get really uninspired, and so I'm not enjoying as much the things that I am doing because it's like this doesn't quite feel like it. And a lot of times I just kind of slow down. Also, like I don't put as much into maybe what I'm doing or into a thing when I'm in a space of uncertainty, but then when that does change, everything turns up a lot. So I would say for me, the last time where I was like focused on kind of thinking about what was next is maybe in the last couple of months. I was doing kind of a not a revamp, but recheck-in with my business and making sure everything was aligned and does it make sense and what's the funnels, all those kind of work things. And I was thinking about how to kind of change service a little bit and, you know, how I might want to slightly change some of the branding and all of those things. And so I think that was the last time where I was like, I don't really know like what the answers are. And I felt like some things needed to change.
Why do we feel like we always need to have a plan? Or do you feel like that?
Yes. I guess kind of yes, because I definitely act like there needs to be a plan in place most of the time for things, whether that's I'm going on this trip for the weekend, whether that's for my week to week of work. And at the same time, I'm one of those people where when people ask like, where do you see this in 5 years? I'm like, I don't. Like it is very hard for me to decide or to choose a final like vision to go towards for some types of things, some things and some things not. But I think we probably feel like we need to have a plan at times because it makes us feel comfortable, even knowing that the plans don't be working or, other things happen. But a plan makes you feel more certain. A plan makes you feel like you have control. Plan makes you feel like you know what's happening. And humans like to know what's what. We feel uncomfortable when we don't know what's next. Imagine if you didn't know what you're about to eat the next day, or you didn't know about where your next check is coming from, or if you didn't know, that a friend was going to make it till the next day. Like, all of those things, like, people like to know what's happening and know what's what. And I think it's just like being how we feel when, like, the lights are on versus the lights are off, where you're just more comfortable because you feel like you can navigate.
Yeah, I think having a plan does give you a false sense of control because you can't really control everything, but you can control how you show up. I also think it ties into how a lot of times in a capitalistic society, we inherently tie our worth with our productivity and with how we show up and stuff like that. And so that makes you feel like, oh, I'm doing something. Because people are like, oh, what are you doing? That's always a big question too. What are you working on? What's the next big project? What's this thing? And you feel like, oh, I got to have a thing. Or what if I don't have this thing? Am I just,
what is my plan?
Yeah, am I a vagabond? Am I just floating, hopelessly like through life? Like,
But also, so with this last time, I also was like, man, I'm not sure. And just in general lately, so like how I said at the very beginning about having certainty, that is kind of how I'm starting to like replace thoughts or confusion around things that feel uncertain, is by being okay with the uncertainty of like how things are going to happen or what's going to happen, and more so certain that things are happening, or certain that, okay, where I'm at or who I'm dealing with or these situations that I'm in are all a part of like the greater thing, right? They're going to either show me something that I need to be working on or no, or I'm going to see that, oh, this thing there's ease here and this makes sense. And so it's just kind of paying attention, and more so less focus on the outside environment and the things going on around you, and more focus is on you and how you are like in the right space to be able to reveal like what that plan could be or what those things are that you're not sure about yet. So being in that space of like, I don't know yet, it's good because it opens you up for growth, and it opens you up to embrace uncertainty in a way where when we stop trying to figure out how to do everything, like the steps line up. It's just that you need to be worried about how you're showing up most of the time. So when it comes to like, I don't know yet, like, let's define that. What is and isn't it when you're okay saying, I don't know yet?
When you're okay saying, I don't know yet, it is an openness to possibility. It is trusting in the universe. It is still showing up for yourself. That doesn't mean not showing up, but not forcing things. It's giving things space and opportunity to show up for you.
And also, it's actually better because if you don't really know and you're forcing yourself to be like, all right, well, it's this, or you're not allowing yourself to be in a space where you can figure it out or see what happens, then sometimes you're going too hard on something that's not right, and or you don't like, or there's some going to be like a negative kind of recall there because you weren't open. It was like, oh, I don't know, but I'll do this. And you just go all in, and it's like, man, you could have missed like what else was possible there or what could have shown up for you in that space. But it's okay to not know, because not knowing what's going on quite yet does not equal failure. It's part of the process. I think it's a great part of the process. I'm actually very much excited when I recognize like something's a little off. But also that's because I like solving problems. And then there's a side thing to that too, where it's like, well, also if you love solving problems, everything's a problem. So you have to be careful about that too. But I enjoy seeing the evolution of things, and I'm okay with that. One thing I've always been okay with is some change now. Like I'll shut all this down tomorrow. It is what it is. So like just being open to how things are allows me to always be focused on how I'm aligned with stuff. And so again, it's like, what makes sense for me? Okay, let's float and figure this out because I don't know yet.
And I think in that space, being in a space of I don't know yet isn't about avoiding things, isn't about like not facing things, and isn't about indecision. It's not being stuck. It's really just allowing yourself a space and a moment and a pause for peace and for clarity, so then you can move in that right direction and listen and find what's aligned.
And for me, it is very empowering because it reminds me that I am blessed to be able to like kind of figure things out. I know how to figure things out. And also, again, by figuring things out, I just mean like I can chill and I can just let myself think. I can meditate. I can pay attention to what people say. I can have the desire. I think a lot of times during the stage of like, I don't know yet, a lot of times I found that what that really means for me is I need to rekindle what is my desire. What is it that I really want to see happen or that I really care about? And sometimes that's the hardest thing to figure out, right? You've been doing a thing and just doing it. But if I can have my desire sparked, now I'm empowered to like move in that direction, to go hard for something that I really care about and want.
And I think whenever you don't know all the next steps and you don't know that, like, it leads to so many things that are so much better than what you could have even imagined. Like, it reminds me of all those memes. It's like the person hold on to the teddy bear, not trying to give it to the little fictional Jesus, but Jesus had like the bigger one. And I think that's the thing for life too. It's like when you are so dead set on like, this is the relationship I have to be in and it has to work, instead of just opening up to what could be, you never know what you're missing out on.
Ooh, I don't know if we're getting off topic, but this is a good exercise I saw yesterday, I think, because then I threw it up on my Snapchat real quick. But it was an exercise around desire and your ability to receive. And it was 3 steps. First step, I don't want to mess it up. The first step is like visualize you getting or having the thing. So let's say if we're talking about relationships, visualize like turning over to this guy who's so handsome. He has all the money. He's like, good morning, baby. He already started your coffee. They're just on point. The second thing to do is start noticing your body where you feel something. And then what I noticed, I think I did this around, I forgot what I was trying to visualize, but you could do it with anything. Relationships, with your work, you could visualize buying this huge house. And I felt it like immediate kind of like a, resistance. And the third step is see where you start feeling resistance when you try to visualize this like great big desires and things being the way you actually want them. The third thing is then when you feel like something that's like not comfortable with that, like really putting your hand there and being like, I expand my capacity to receive like these types of desires or to need to want these things, because we kind of like can hold ourselves back sometimes. I remember when I met with the guy who kind of like in a mentor situation where I just want to talk to him about some work stuff, and he was asking me questions. I remember I brought this up a long time ago with something other topic, but he asked me something about my purpose, and I immediately was like, and he was like, oh, I can visibly see that, like, every time I say certain things, I visibly see you doing something. Heck, yeah. And I was like, oh shoot. And I'm like, yeah, why am I, it's like my body saying like, no, that's too much, or like, no, you can't do that. And so even realizing those things and being like, nope, like I could have all of that, and being okay with those desires sometimes is what you need to do in spaces where you're not sure what's next. But if you could figure out what you want and what you desire, then that's at least opening your mind up for you to start seeing how you can connect those dots.
That's a great exercise and very beautiful, and one of the quickest ways to manifestation, because a lot of times we say we want a thing, but then we don't think we're worthy of it, or we're scared of it, or we have a block like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, but you're scared to check your bank account balance and scared to have a budget. Like, there's some things that need to be healed, and so I actually really enjoyed that exercise.
And in the last couple of months, when I was, thinking about like changes with the work and all of that, I would say like some of the podcasts I was listening to, some of the things I would read, like I was like, this is some ideas. I just jot the ideas down. But then I really would hear stuff or see stuff, and then something would click. And I'm like, oh, let me go to this. Or then I get an idea and it's like, oh, that is a good idea. Let's start this vision board thing. Or what was it called? My vision studio, where I spent 30 minutes a day doing a thing. And next thing you know, like it unraveled to where it was so clear like what I needed to do. That's like, oh, okay, let me just do those things. And I started doing those. Next thing you know, I got a client. Next thing you know, right? Gang. And so when you also start to see, you have to have that space, though. You have to have that space in order to see things that are available and maybe would work. And then it's a matter of moving forward. But it's okay to be like, I don't know yet. While you're in that time.
And you might know a little bit and not have the whole answer. And so I have like a story around how sitting in I don't know yet changed my whole life in such a beautiful way. So I was working in Dallas in engineering. And I noticed I started getting angry. Like I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to do it anymore. I wasn't helping nobody. I was irritable. Like I just had tension. And I was like, okay, life has to change. I don't know what, but I need to change something. So I was like, okay, I don't know yet what's next. However, I know one thing I could do, possibility, is go to business school. And so I started studying for the not the LSAT, for the whatever that stupid test is that I took to get into business school that I can't think of right now. But anyways, I started GMAT. Started studying for the GMAT. I got a tutor. So I didn't know what was happening yet. I didn't know where I was going to apply, but I knew I needed to do something different. So after work, I was working out. I was taking care of myself. I was trying to eat healthy, and I was studying towards something new. Like I didn't know yet. I didn't have any answers, but I was moving towards the thing. And then through that whole entire process, I ended up getting accepted to a school in Barcelona. That didn't work out. Last minute, applied to USC, got in, decided to move out here, and it changed my whole life. And that wouldn't have been possible if I, one, wasn't in alignment and working towards a thing, and didn't allow for possibility. Like if I thought I had to have all my plans laid out, it wouldn't have worked any of the way I thought it would have.
Mm-hmm. And that's often how life is when we really look back at things. That you have a direction, but then really being open to like how that's gonna open up for you, you do not know. But I will say, I think that because it's an exercise that I've probably done so many times in so many different ways, like the more I do this, like it just becomes more and more second nature to really like embrace it. Like I don't necessarily have as much of a fear of an unknown, again, because I know like I always can have a place to stay. I can always have some money in my pocket or figure out how to make it, or I always know like I will be good, right, with my community of people, with family, et cetera, et cetera. And so in those stages of not knowing, it doesn't feel like a pressure to have to immediately figure things out, but there's such a freedom in embracing that space and what's possible. Mm-hmm. So as always, you know, you can reframe your perspective around, all right, what's possible? Like this could be the time that I start taking an acting class and like go do something random, and next thing you know, you are in who knows what movie, The Matrix 15. But like you never know, and it's good to think about it as a space for opportunity.
Yeah, all this is opportunity. I get excited when I think about the curiosity and possibility of life. And again, if you're thinking about manifestation and looking into visualization and all that, people like Neville Goddard talk about envisioning, like let's say you're envisioning I'm gonna get $2,000, but you don't know how you're gonna get it, but you just envision getting the check. Mm-hmm. And you're so excited and it fills you with so much warmth, and you think about how you're gonna spend it. But if all you're thinking about is like, oh, well, I have to get a client to do this, it might not come from that. You might get $2,000 from one of them lawsuits from one of these companies that did us wrong, and you didn't even know you were signed up, but you were on their customer list and you got a $2,000 check in the mail. 18
cents the other day from a settlement. I swear to God, I don't know how y'all do that 9 to 5, because that's my second settlement in a month. I think one was 54 cents, one was 18 cents, one was $5. Like,
I got $18 from one of them O's, so I'm just saying.
Cha-ching. You know what I mean? Like, you never know where the money coming from, but it's coming, baby. So let's talk just about a couple of ways that people can, how we can make it more comfortable to sit with uncertainty. We already kind of said to reframe it as a space for opportunity and to something fun to figure out.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
And then something else is noticing that sometimes growth and opportunities and good things come with waiting and sitting in a space and being in a space of alignment. And notice I said being in a space of alignment, but in being in that space and knowing that some good things take time. Like you have no idea when things will happen, but just trusting that they always do.
Mm-hmm. And in those times of uncertainty, when you're trying to figure that out, it helps just to have some alone time, have some silent time, to jot things down, listen to inspirational type materials, read something inspirational. That's what I do. Like when I'm in a space of uncertainty, that's when I go to listen to other ideas and other people and what are they doing, what's going on, or something spiritual, whatever, because often those things will spark an idea or a thought, or even they'll make me think about something again with myself. I was doing something and it sparked something with myself. I'm like, dang, you know what? That's something I could work on. There's a thing I could work on. But that thing I could work on will also make work, relationships, people, all the things better. So again, it's a focus on like, all right, how can I make my vessel one that's ready for these desires and these things and can handle that? Because if I, like I said with the exercise earlier, if I'm like, imagine myself, somebody on the phone saying, oh, $1 million a year. Oh yeah, cool. Let's send the paperwork. Then I was like, because what? Like, now it's like, dang, how can you do this? And it's like, nah, I can start to think about like, okay, how can I be ready for those things? Or imagine even myself being like, bet you got it, because I could draft that up and send it over and get the team together and blah, 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 right? So just like actually recognizing that you do have what it is. It's just a matter of letting your brain like sort things out sometimes, letting your soul sort things out, like just having some quiet time and being okay with it.
It makes me think about that quote, like, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so I think in this season of I don't know yet, in this space where you are, what are those things you can prepare, whether it's your vessel, your mind, your heart, heal your relationship with money, doing a therapist, make sure you're doing things that bring you joy, like all the things you can do to be best aligned with your highest self so that when the opportunity comes, you're ready.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. When you're uncertain, you just focus on bettering yourself and opening yourself to what's around. So this week, practice saying, I don't know yet, even if it's to yourself, to somebody else, in any areas of your life where it makes sense without judgment, and let yourself be in that question and like sit with it, see where it takes you, and don't try to solve things. Don't try to solve it, but just sit with the uncertainty to see what can happen next.
Yeah, hit us at Carlie's Couch. Let us know how that goes. Thank you.